Welcome, everybody, to the latest episode of True Believers here on the Fandom Podcast Network. This is our podcast that covers everything that's going on in the MCU. And yeah, we've been gone a few weeks, taking a little break after our visit to the multiverse of madness. But we're back because the summer is here and the MCU has a lot of things happening over the summer. So we're going to be doing a little bit of a summer preview of what's coming up for the mighty Marvel Cinematic Universe. But I can't talk about all these great things by myself. And first and foremost, coming back, he's probably off of his about 100th rewatch of Moon Knight, I'm going to guess at this point, but that's okay because we love him for it. Of course, he is our Moon Knight expert and Marvel aficionado, as we shall say, Mr. Cat Ceder.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's only been 5 times on all,
only 5
on
times?
All the episodes.
Oh, okay. So when we multiply it up, then we're good. So
then with 30.
And then we're bringing on a special guest. I think you might recognize his voice. It's been a little bit. He's been a little busy, but we're glad to have him back. Of course, he is the co-founder of the Fandom Podcast Network, Mr. Kevin Reitzel.
Hey guys, what's going on? Oh, by the way, am I on the right show here? I'm not dressed for it, so
well, yeah. you're celebrating other things, but it's all within the Disney family, so it works.
This is true. Yeah, I'm here at Star Wars Celebration in Anaheim, and I'm dressed as an Imperial officer, and I'm getting ready to head over to the Imperial officer's official photo shoot for the 501st. So I thought I'd drop in.
I don't recall any officers wearing glasses.
Glasses are now officially canon in Star Wars, especially if you watch The Mandalorian.
Exactly. Kevin, just real quick.
And some issues of Marvel, by the way. So yeah.
Just real quick. You were at Star Wars night last night, and I saw the video you posted on Facebook where you guys kind of rated the Resistance. I just want to know how you managed to get out of Disney jail so quick.
Oh no, we took. The Imperial. For those of you that don't know, me and my fellow Imperial Officer Corps. Special detachment from the 501st invaded Batuu last night at Star Wars Galaxy in Anaheim, and it was great. We had like about 30 of us at one time, and we all went on the rides together, all in full costume because since it's a special Star Wars night because they got everyone out of there by like 5 or 6, and then you had to have a special ticket to get back in there. And the first ride we went on was Rise of the Resistance, although we called it Death of the Resistance. And there's a certain part of the ride, if you've been on it, where it opens up and you see resistance techs getting people to come in. And this guy saw us come on. He's like, oh, wrong one. It was pretty funny. It was a lot of fun. We had a great time. We did, obviously, got a big picture in front of the Falcon and went down did Star Tours. It was a lot of fun.
Did you arrest that Wookiee? That's why I'm waving.
No, we didn't see Chewie. So, yeah, he was around probably, though.
They like keeping their arms attached to their bodies.
It's true. Yes. Yeah.
But we got a lot to cover here. Kevin's only with us for a short time, and I want to make sure we get into what he wants to talk about as well. So we are here to discuss everything that's happening this summer with the MCU. We've got 2 big Disney Plus shows. We've got an absolutely huge MCU film. So we're not going to waste any time. As you know, we don't do segments around here. We do phases. So let me bleed off a little Tesseract energy so we can jump into phase 1. Okay, now that there's a few less Imperial officers around after the Tesseract energy.
Hey.
Hey, score 1 for the good guys. Welcome to phase 1 of the big summer MCU. Each phase on this particular episode, we're going to cover one of the big 3 things that are happening. And let's start off with the biggest one. The newest trailer hit and blew everybody's minds. It debuted during the NBA Finals, which I know some people had issues with it debuting during a sporting event, but Scott Botman will leave you alone. Thor: Love and Thunder, guys. This trailer, the first trailer that debuted was great, but this second trailer, which gave us a full look of what's going on, including Christian Bale's villain in this movie, as well as Gore the God Butcher, as well as seeing a few other familiar faces in this trailer. Kevin, I have a feeling as soon as that "Oh Sweet Child of Mine" started kicking in, you were already all in on this movie.
Oh yeah, the first trailer. If you're going to get me with some Guns N' Roses, I'm in. And we had a little bit of Led Zeppelin with the last Thor film, which is great. But it was a great intro into this, and I was worried that the first one was just enough for me. Like I'm like, I don't know if I want to see any more trailers for this movie because I don't want to be spoiled. But this trailer gave us a lot more, but without really doing the spoiling thing too much. And I like that. And it just made us hungrier to see this film July 7th, you said it was, or July 8th?
July 8th, my
July
birthday.
8th,
Marvel,
which
thank you
is-
for the great birthday present.
Yeah, your birthday, man. You get to watch it. So anyway, the trailer was great for that reason, that you got a little bit more. You got more Jane in it, which was great. Some funny lines. And the opening with Korg telling the story of Thor. You know, and you have to keep one thing in mind when it comes to trailers in the MCU. There's certain things that just aren't going to make it into the theatrical release. And I don't think that that intro by Korg, which is voiced by Taika Waititi, I don't expect that to be in the movie, and I'm fine with that. But it was nice that they kind of set that up to let us know where Thor is right now, and you know, rocking the dad bod and losing it, and then getting the God bod back.
Now, of course, we are here to talk about the tale of the Space Viking cat. What were your reactions to this trailer?
I was blown away by it too. I loved how they did a lot of gradient stuff with this trailer too. If you noticed, while watching it, it shows bright, vibrant colors in the beginning, and then they start showing Gore the God Butcher, and it starts getting darker and black and white. And if you watch it, you'll notice that certain scenes you'll see that he's like, you know, he's all black and white except for his eyes. But then you look at like Thor, who's like in bright white, gold and blue, and sort of now gets muted to like gray blue and gray yellow. So that alone, I'm a huge black and white fan, and that alone just like, ooh, Sin City-esque. That's
a good way to put it.
Filming.
So this trailer for me
part alone, but
yeah. This trailer for me was just phenomenal. There's some moments in this trailer that are pulled directly from some of the Thor comics of more recent times. Obviously, the Jane Foster version of Thor. I love that scene where he turns around and there's Mjolnir and he's all excited and he reaches out for it, pulls away, turns around. There's Jane. So I'm very curious how they're going to tell that story in the MCU, because as far as the reconstruction of Mjolnir and some of that. So I'm curious to see how this movie deals with that. Obviously, the Guardians are in this. We see in this trailer, we also see Karen Gillan as Nebula. And I'm thinking that there's at least going to be one or two characters of the Guardians who might be in this film for a good portion of it. You know, you might maybe a Nebula or something like that. We see her more. Kevin?
So the funny scene that they show where he's captive and Russell Crowe's character,
Russell Crowe is Zeus.
Zeus, yeah, that's right. Okay, Zeus, and he like does the thing, and all of his clothes get ripped off of him.
Yeah,
and they're showing the tattoo on the back of like it looks like Loki's possible headdress or something like that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. My question is it Loki's headdress or is it Matt Damon's headdress?
I think it's Loki's headdress. Kevin, I know you don't remember because you fainted just like all the girls in the film.
Yeah, once I saw that scene, I went, oh.
And it was a great. I love to play that the fact Valkyrie and Jane are just kind of like eating grapes, whatever.
Yeah. Do we help him now? He's like, not yet. Have some grapes.
Yeah. This movie looks like it's just continuing the spirit of everything with Thor Ragnarok. Cat, it's going to have some fun to it, but it looks. One of the big questions that's still kind of floating out there, they haven't confirmed or not, if this is going to be another one of these Marvel where they're maybe passing the torch from the main actor, and Natalie Portman's going to take over as Thor, at least for a little while in the MCU. Do you have any speculation on that? And anything else in the trailer that stood out for you?
I'm hoping that they do that, because there's issues in the comics where Thor takes time out with Jane Foster's Thor and Eric. Oh my God, last name. Thunderstrike, who became Thor for a while, and then Beta Ray Thor, which I'm hoping we see in this movie, which would be awesome. I think he might actually be in this movie only because they showed that one clip where it's like Thor and then someone else, and then there's a big open space right here that they sort of edited something out, and I'm hoping that that's where someone else might be. But he can take a break and do other roles in other movies while he comes back to Thor later, because he does come back as Thor, obviously, in the comics. So I wouldn't mind seeing a Thor with Jane Foster as the lead, or again as Beta Ray Thor as the lead, and going from there. But him leaving it permanently, I don't think so. I think it's just a temporary, like, here you go, but give this back when I'm done. When I'm ready.
Kevin, do you have some thoughts on that?
Yeah, so my wife Erin is from Australia, for those that don't know, and Chris Hemsworth as Thor is like, to Australian people, is their Captain America, where he's the one superhero that everyone cheers for the most there, for obvious reasons, because he is Australian as well, and I've actually visited Phillip Island, which is where he had, the Hemsworth brothers spent some time when they were kids, and they go back and all that kind of stuff. But I was doing some research that this is based on a certain comic run, and it would be really cool, I guess, for the comic fans for that to kind of come to fruition. But when it comes down to it, this is all about Chris Hemsworth. He is one of the original Avengers that is still around. He's taken over the mantle as the OC Avenger when it comes to the MCU. And I think that as much as Jane Foster, Natalie Portman's character taking over the Thor mantle with Mjolnir is great. Keep her coming back. But I think that Chris Hemsworth as an actor has kind of found his niche, and he knows where his bread and butter is. And that's not a bad thing, because we love him as Thor. And he's so much, when you look at the original Thor, it's so much fun to see his evolution of the character. And he's had so much evolution in each of these different movies and in the Avenger films. You see so many great moments with him. So I see him still coming back for like a fifth film or a major part in, a team up movie or something like that. He's not retiring this character anytime soon.
Yeah, no, he's gone on record saying he will play Thor as long as they allow him to play Thor. He loves playing the character, and they're giving him the opportunities to do other roles. I know he's got a couple of Netflix films. He's got one that's coming out here shortly called Spiderhead, which looks very intriguing.
And he's doing Extraction, too. Yeah.
Yeah, he's doing Extraction too, and he's got a couple other things he's working on as well. So, I think he's kind of like the guy who's going to be, and I think he's scheduled to do some voice work for the second season of What If as well. So. We've got that, but for me too, I'm very excited for this film. Obviously, here on True Believers, as we get closer to it coming out, we're going to be covering it in full, and we'll have our full episode covering True Believers. A little bit of a side note with Thor: Loki season 2 has started filming, and it's been confirmed that everybody who was a member of the cast last season is back for the second season of Loki. So
we still might see some jet skiing. Then is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, there's still a jet ski possibility. So, guys, I want to move on because we got another couple other big things to talk about. But the big one
that needs to be the opening credit scene.
Yeah, that's the opening credit, is him on the jet ski. There you go. We have a couple of other big shows to talk about, including the one that will be debuting August 17th on Disney Plus. Of course, starring one of my many crushes out there, but probably right at the top of the list, Miss Tatiana Maslany as Jennifer Walters, aka She-Hulk Attorney at Law. Now, guys, the trailer came out of this a few weeks ago, and there was a little controversy about it because a lot of people were not real impressed with the CG on She-Hulk. Well, this day Star Wars Celebration came out. They put the trailer, they re-released the trailer on Disney Plus, and you can already see where they've upgraded the CGI on Jennifer Walters She-Hulk, and I still think it's a bit of a work in progress. So a lot of people have talked the CG thing to death. I think it's still a work in progress. I think we need to reserve judgment on that aspect of the show actually comes out. But I want to talk about what your general reactions were to seeing this trailer and getting a feel for the show, because like Moon Knight, I think it's going to be something very different from anything we've seen come from Marvel before. Kat, I want to go with you on this first because I know you have some familiarity with She-Hulk as well, and I think this is going to be something that's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, it looks like a fun trailer. I've watched it a couple times now since it's debuted, and I watched the re-edit of it. Just some of the stuff looks. It's gonna be like, I see a lot of campiness in it because She-Hulk herself is a very funny comic if you read it, as well as serious, because some of the lines in the trailer is like, you could be an Avenger. No, that's not me. That's narcissists and billionaires, but it looks like it's gonna be a good show, and I'm enjoying what they've done so far, and not showing much. Yeah, when I first saw it, like you said, the green effect on She-Hulk was just very like, that doesn't look right. And then I found out they did a re-release, and I watched that again. And I spoke to Kevin yesterday. I told him, hey, they did a re-release of this trailer, now better CGI, you can actually see she looks more like She-Hulk as opposed to her human with just skin on it, skin color on it. As for what they're doing, yeah, it looks like it's going to be fun. I can't wait to see Daredevil in it too, because he's supposed to be I want my Daredevil.
Yeah, there's a lot of Matt Murdock rumors floating around, and obviously Marvel has confirmed they are working on a Daredevil show for Disney Plus. But Kevin, I hate to tell you this, your ass isn't working it like She-Hulk's ass is working it.
All I need is a blood transfusion from the Hulk, and we'll talk later, okay? I've been hiking Runyon's Canyon in Hollywood the last couple of days, so I don't know. I'm a little proud of my butt right now, so we'll see.
I'm proud of your butt too.
Thank you, appreciate that. Kyle, you proud of my butt? Let's make it a 3 for right now.
I need to see a little more effort.
Okay, all right.
I want to see a few more trips up in Runyon, and then we'll talk.
I'll work on that. I'm sorry. What was the question?
Just what was your reaction to the She-Hulk?
Okay, so I saw the original trailer, and I didn't have a big issue with the CGI, and then people started mentioning it, and then I went back and watched it again. I'm like, okay, whatever. And then Cat, yeah, like you said, I went back and rewatched it, and they obviously touched it up, which is great, but. I wasn't lost, or that didn't bug me. I was more interested in the character moments and some of the funny things that Tatiana Maslany was saying and doing, and the whole thing with Smart Hulk. Is that what we call him, Smart Hulk?
Professor Hulk.
Professor Hulk. All right, Professor Hulk. Yeah, which is great. I love seeing those scenes in there, and Jablonski as well. But this trailer gave me a big sense of fun, and it kind of like when I was seeing trailers for Hawkeye, because there was some fun that was added to it. And when I look back on all of the Disney Plus Marvel MCU shows, even for Falcon and Winter Soldier, there was some fun moments that they were showing. And I don't mind, we get into the nitty gritty and, people's lives are at stake and stuff like that. But when you show fun in the trailer, like we just referred to in, Thor, Love and Thunder, that's when you get me, someone who's not tied to the comics as much. But I did do a little homework. I watched our buddies. I always got to give them a shout out. It's Screen Crush. They do a great job of explaining the trailers and showing all the references and the Easter eggs. And Ryan Neri does a great job on those videos. And I'll give him a shout out because for us, like myself, who don't read the comics, we get a little more informed because of that. And I'm not afraid to admit that I watch those because it helps me as a viewer. And they're fun to watch. He does a great job. He's got a cute little puppy there too, which is great. But anyway, seeing She-Hulk and learning that she's this, she embraces her Hulkness and becomes a celebrity of it. And she, in the comics, she overindulges a little bit. She's got a personal life too, which looks like fun. And I got to tell you, Kyle, Tatiana Maslany, as much as she has done for, the show that she was on,
Orphan Black.
I think this show is just going to push her over because one of the things that when we were talking about with Orphan Black is, yeah, she won an Emmy for that, but she didn't really get pushed to the next level and get in all these like high profile roles. And I think this is the one, even though she doesn't need a role like this to show how promising and how wonderful an actress she is, the fact that we get to see a light side of this character and a comedy part of it, I think is really important because when people can, as you know, turn on the serious part and be the serious actor for the dramatic parts, when you can be funny and relatable in a character like this that the trailer's showing, it looks like a lot of fun. And I'm really excited for this series.
One of the things I'm really excited about for this too is, as I call it, the MCU redemption tours, and it's time to redeem aspects of the Incredible Hulk because we have Tim Roth in this show. According to IMDb, he's in all 9 episodes, so that's going to be interesting.
Keep in mind, because we haven't seen it yet, they just kind of throw that in there. I don't expect him to be in that many. Whenever you see this stuff on IMDb, they just list who they know that's in it. And then the IMDb credits start to change a little bit more as the season goes along, because as much as I would love to see him in 9 episodes, I don't think we're getting him.
I think he's actually going to be what I know that the main villain in this show is supposed to be the character Titana, but I think Abomination's going to at least be in a few episodes of this.
Did we see
show.
a frog guy in there too? I saw something on Screen Crush about that. There's like a frog guy, a frog villain guy, or something like that.
If there is, that'd be Frogman.
Yeah, Frogman. There was a character that he thought that looked like this frog guy, and showed some comics of it. I thought it was hilarious.
And it could be because they're going to be playing up the lawyer side and her defending superpowered people. So we could see some really obscure characters pop in court or something like that.
That would be fun. I'd love to see Frogman. That's funny.
And of course, this is confirmed. Kevin, the new version of Coulson of the MCU will be part of She-Hulk. Wong is in at least one episode of She-Hulk.
Yes. Well, we have to have the Jablonski Abomination thing.
The Blonsky.
Blonsky.
Is it Blonsky? I'm sorry.
Blonsky. Emil Blonsky.
I'm saying Jablonski. How funny.
Jabroni.
Jabroni. Thank you for the correction. But yeah, we have to have that Shang-Chi tie-in. So that would be great. And like I said, guys, during the podcast for, apparently my harsh critique of Doctor Strange, give me some more Wong, man. I'll take it.
Kevin wants that Wong Disney Plus show.
Yes, I do. He deserves it. He totally deserves it.
So I'm really looking forward to She-Hulk. I think it's going to be a ton of fun. Obviously, I'm in with Tatiana being part of it. And just bring it on. So She-Hulk, ready for August 17th. But we got to talk about what the latest and greatest show for the MCU is going to be. And that's debuting next week, June 6th. And that is Miss Marvel. Now, guys, this is kind of a weird one. Kevin, I know you need to go here in a few minutes, so I just want to let you just kick off real quick, because Miss Marvel is probably a character you're really unfamiliar with, and there's a lot of change. There's doing a lot of changes with this character as far as her power set, and so I just kind of want from what you've seen of the trailers. Are you excited for Miss Marvel? Are you intrigued? Because this seems, again, it's a little different angle for what MCU is doing. And I like the fact that they're doing it with these Disney Plus shows.
When I watched that first trailer, was it over like a month or 2 months ago?
Almost 2 months ago. Yeah.
Almost 2 months ago. I just watched it once and I found it charming. I like the idea of this girl in high school, finding out about these powers. And the fact that we're getting tied to the possibility of, Carol Danvers maybe later on in the show. I don't know. But I like the idea of this young girl who's kind of out of place, finding a place, whether, and becoming a superhero, so to speak. And I don't know anything about the character. Obviously, I'm that guy, and you guys know that. But I am not like She-Hulk excited. Obviously, because it's MCU, I'm obviously going to check it out, and I'm going to go with an open mind. But I'm going with an open mind, like I think this could be refreshing, a little bit different take on what we've seen in these Marvel MCU shows on Disney Plus, and so I'm looking forward to talking about it because I think it will find its niche. I hope we'll see.
Yeah. Just to give you a little bit of update, Kevin, there's a new trailer that hit about 2 weeks ago, and Carol Danvers is in that trailer.
Oh, very cool. I'm wondering if I should not watch it, but now I kind of want to see it now that you mentioned that. We'll see.
Well, but here's the other thing. I think of all these shows and the things that we're talking about, we know Miss Marvel is directly setting up things that are going to be happening in the movie The Marvels, which comes out in 2023, which not only will include the Miss Marvel character and Carol Danvers, but also the Monica Rambeau character that we've seen from WandaVision. So that's going to be that's a big movie for 2023 for Marvel. So I think this one has a lot of interesting aspects to watch because we know it's setting up some things for that upcoming film.
I'm excited for the Marvels movie. I'm a big proponent and defender of
Brie Larson.
Yeah, Brie Larson and her character, and I really like that movie. I thought it was fun, so we'll see what happens. I'm excited. Anyway, guys, I got to get going. I got to go do some Star Wars nerdy stuff.
Well, thanks for taking some time, and hopefully, Kevin, he's married now. His life is settling back down, so we're gonna start seeing him pop up back on the Fandom Podcast Network a little more. I got plenty of work for him. Cat and I are missing one of those. For those of you on YouTube, Kevin was showing off his wedding ring. Cat and I. Hey, we're available. Just saying.
I just want to say I miss podcasting with you guys. Obviously, for personal reasons, I've been very busy, and I've made Aaron and I have made the most of it. But I'm looking back, getting in podcasting here for the summer. So.
Absolutely. I got plenty of work for you. Don't worry.
I don't have any work for you.
Yeah, we're gonna let Kevin get out of here. We're gonna take a quick break, and when we come back, Kat and I are gonna get into a little bit deeper things with Miss Marvel. So
see you guys.
We'll be right back. And Kevin, enjoy Star Wars Celebration.
See ya.
For the rest of you, here's what's going on around the Fandom Podcast Network.
Thank you for listening. We hope you're enjoying this podcast. We'd like to continue to feed your ears by inviting you to listen to these other great shows on the Fandom Podcast Network. It starts with our flagship show, Culture Clash, discussing the latest in entertainment pop culture. Bloody Kings, Immortals Take Notice, our show covering the entire Highlander universe. Couch Potato Theaters, where we celebrate our favorite movies. Time Warp, the Fandom Flashback podcast discussing a year in movies and our favorite retro movie and TV pop culture topics. Good Evening, discussing all things Alfred Hitchcock. Union Federation, our Star Trek and Orville show. Hair Metal, the 80s and early 90s rock metal podcast. Type 40, our show covering the time-traveling Doctor Who universe with host Dan Hadley. Lethal Mullet, an 80s and 90s action film podcast with host Adam P. O'Brien. Also check out the Lethal Mullet Network for more great podcasts. What a Piece of Junk, a Star Wars podcast with hosts Scott, Derek, and Nathan. Making Treks, a Star Trek podcast, a deep dive into the final frontier with host Mark Newbold and Adam P. O'Brien. And check out our newest shows, The Fandom Show, our monthly Fandom Podcast Network live YouTube exclusive show about the month's hottest topics in fandom, and the FPN True Believers MCU podcast, discussing the Marvel Cinematic Universe and the related Marvel television and streaming MCU universe, including the connections to the original Marvel comics. You can find the Fandom Podcast Network on several platforms. Please subscribe to the Fandom Podcast Network YouTube channel to receive notifications of new podcast episodes and live events. You can enjoy all of the Fandom Podcast Network audio podcasts on our master feed at fpnet.podbean.com. The Fandom Podcast Network is on all major podcast platforms, including Apple Podcast and iTunes. You can find the Fandom Podcast Network on Facebook. You can email us at fandompodcastnetwork@gmail.com. You can also find the Fandom Podcast Network on Instagram at Fandom Podcast Network and on Twitter at FanPod Network. Thank you for listening, and remember, respect others and enjoy your fandom.
And we are back, and we're a little lighter because Kevin is at Celebration, but us single dudes who apparently have no life, just hanging out.
You know, it's funny, actually, I just got invited by my friend Brittany to go to Phoenix Comic-Con, so after this, I'm going to Comic-Con.
Oh, well, there you go. Everybody's doing a convention. I'm sitting here editing. Oh, well.
Hey, you at least have
actually,
to hang out with.
Yeah. Well, I got to keep them fed, and they keep me occupied. Kat, let's talk about Miss Marvel, because, this is a character who we know for this show, they're greatly changing her power set, but they're keeping the spirit of the character as far as her heritage and some things going on there. Obviously, with the other aspect of it is in the comics, Miss Marvel is an Inhuman. Obviously, the Inhumans are kind of we're not going to broach this subject quite yet in the MCU, even though there is now a big push to get Anson back as Black Bolt and give Inhumans another shot, done properly, hopefully. But how familiar are you with Miss Marvel, Kat?
Not as familiar as I am with a lot of other characters, but I do know a little bit about her. From what I've seen in the preview and what I know that they're keeping her heritage same. They're keeping her a diehard Miss Marvel fan. It looks like from the preview. Everything else about her has been changed from what I see. Whether or not they follow that same concept, I don't know. They may still say it's Terrigen Mist that made her. Who knows?
Yeah, from what I see, so with the character Kamala Khan turned out to be Inhuman in the comics, exposed to Terrigen Mist, got the power to where she can kind of shapeshift her body a little bit, stretch it, grow it, make things kind of weird sizes and stuff like that. Obviously, it's one of the few criticisms a lot of people generally agree on from Doctor Strange is the stretching effects still look, they can't seem to get that perfected yet. And I think
No.
that's part of the reason why they've made a change in Kamala Khan's skills power set for this show, along with the aspect of I think they're trying to get it tied a little bit closer to things involved that relate to Miss Marvel and the Kree
Yeah.
and things like that. Now, if you've watched the trailer, you see in the trailer she gets some gauntlets, and I almost kind of feel a little bit more like a Quasar-esque kind of thing, Cat.
A little bit, yeah.
That's where, but she's going to be using them, and instead of
you
it's going to be her
froze.
body making the changes, she's going to use it, but reflect it through energy, almost in a way like a Green Lantern. It almost feels like a little bit of a Green Lantern kind of thing, maybe, but not to that really intensive level like that Green Lantern gets into with his creations.
Right. Yeah, that's the total thing that they did. It's like, I don't know. I mean, I know that they can't do stretching, and I mean, we've all seen Fantastic Four movies, and we see how bad he stretches his arm out there. It's just okay. But to change her completely like that, I mean, I would have been more happy if they gave her like a power that was sort of like just like manipulating her body a little bit, maybe making her a little taller or a little shorter, like Ant-Man kind of power, as opposed to big fists hitting somebody or big beat stomping on someone like she does in the comics. To give her
and it's
bands and change her, I mean, we'll see. I'm
going
in open-minded.
Yeah, I'm going in open-minded, understanding some of the reasons why they probably weren't able to do the character quite like they wanted to, but she still is very much a superhero fan, wants to be a hero herself. Obviously, if you're very aware in the comics, Marvel has given Kamala Khan a huge push since basically her creation as just initially a very large Carol Danvers fan. She's been a mainstay in the MCU. She's been the leader of the Champions, which is a young teen hero set in the Marvel Universe. A big inclusion in the recent Avengers video game.
She is the Avengers video game.
Yeah. Well, we won't talk about the game itself, but she was heavily marketed with that. From everything I've heard from people who've seen the early screeners of the first couple of episodes, the young actress who is playing Kamala Khan, Iman Vellani, is nailing it, and they're coming out saying she is a star in this, and she is doing a phenomenal job. So I am very curious to see how this show is going to develop. I think this is outside of Loki, because nobody really had any idea what direction Loki was going to go into, and I think Loki kept all its viewers on its toes for most of it. I feel like this is kind of the biggest unknown MCU show we've had in a while, Cat. I mean, at least with Moon Knight, we kind of had an idea of the character and what they were at least going to attempt to try and do with it. But I think with this one, this is kind of
us in the dark.
Yeah, they're keeping us in the dark, and I think we know. But the other thing, though, is Cat, we still do know this is going to be a character who's going to have a major effect on an upcoming Marvel MCU film, and that makes it very intriguing.
Yeah, the fact that they're putting out there and stating that now, I mean, they're not ones usually for going back on their word of what they're going to say they're going to do. So let's hope it's good.
Yeah, I'm excited for this. I'm trying not to go in with high expectations on this show because I really truly don't know what to expect. I'm just going in. What I would really like from this show is that this show can have some of the same kind of energy that I felt like I got from Haley Steinfeld in Hawkeye as Kate Bishop, and her interactions with Yelena. If we can get some of that kind of energy going, I'm really good. I'm really good with that for this show. That was phenomenal. But we got one more thing we're going to talk about here, so I'm going to bleed off a little bit more Tesseract energy to get us into the next phase. Okay, Kat, it's time we talk. We worked through the summer. We have 3 huge Marvel show projects coming out in the summer with Thor: Love and Thunder, Miss Marvel, She-Hulk. Those are all. I'm very excited for all of them. But we have some interesting things as far as what we have. I'm only going to talk about the things that we know are for sure coming out sometime either in 2022 or 2023. There's some movies to be announced. We know Fantastic Four, but we don't have a set year even on Fantastic Four yet. So I want to focus on what's coming up. And the first thing that's actually coming up after She-Hulk will be the Marvel MCU Halloween special, which hasn't gotten a lot of hype, but it is confirmed, coming out October 22nd. The only thing that we really know about this is that Werewolf by Night is supposed to play a big part, which is, of course, Cat, for you and I, leading to a lot of speculation that Moon Knight could pop up in this.
Hey, speaking of Moon Knight, uh, did you know that they released a behind the scenes,
Yeah, the Avengers Assembled.
the assembled thing? Have
Yeah.
you watched it yet?
I have not had a chance to watch it yet. This will be on
Really
my
good.
holiday weekend watch list.
Really good. I watched it the other day.
Well, I have a lot of confidence we're going to see more Moon Knight, whether it's a second season or something else, because I just think Oscar Isaac was really happy with his experience compared to other
absolutely.
experiences he's had with other franchises, and I think he will be back for that. But I like the fact that the MCU is doing these little specials this year, because we have, not only do we have the Halloween special, we've known for a while we're going to get a Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But I hope they continue to do these kind of little things, like these little one shots where maybe they can introduce a off the wall character and just have a little fun.
Yeah, relax a little bit, but but make it enjoyable.
It feels like that's what they're kind of getting at now with Disney Plus. It's like, okay, we've gotten kind of our initial feet wet with everything, with the initial shows like WandaVision, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and Loki, and now we're feeling a little bit more comfortable with what we're doing here, and we're going to take some risks. And I'm glad they're doing that. But I'm very excited. I'm looking forward to hearing more about this Halloween special. But the next thing then on the plate for the MCU is Cat is, to me, one of the, I don't want to say biggest things, but it's going to be a very powerful emotional thing. And that is November 11th, right now, the scheduled release date for Wakanda Forever. Now, obviously, it's going to be heavy because of everything with Chadwick. We're not quite sure what to expect from this. We know Michael B. Jordan is back for this film, and we know we are getting Namor established in this film as well, Kat. So I am a lot of interesting things with this film. I want to ask you, because I know that there's been a big push that people are really pushing, including Chadwick Boseman's brother, and I think from what I hear, he had a meeting with Kevin Feige about this, that Chadwick felt the character of T'Challa was too important and should carry on. My question is this: do you think there is a chance that they surprisingly recast T'Challa before the end of this film and make it a surprise?
I mean, if they followed the comic, Shuri would become Black Panther. If they recast it, that would be a heavy, heavy hit, and a lot of people may not like it because it's not Chadwick. But if they get the right person, like the one that you mentioned before, I can't remember his name.
David James Washington, Denzel Washington's son,
who looked a lot like Chadwick and could possibly pull it off. I think they'd get a lot of slack, but once people saw the movie, if it was good, which I have no doubt about, then people won't forget Chadwick, but they'll be impressed and they'll remember Chadwick more for it. If the movie doesn't do good and they recast, that may destroy the whole Black Panther name in the MCU. Marvel Cinematic Universe, not Marvel Comics.
Yeah, and obviously, too, we know that sometime later on, and nothing officially announced as a set date, but probably 2023, we are getting the Wakanda Disney Plus show, which is going to focus on Okoye.
Yeah, I did see that. So that'd be cool. I like Okoye.
Yeah, I like Okoye, too. So I'm very curious to see what this is going to be. I'm excited to see how they're going to handle Namor, because they have gone on record now that they are definitely going to make some changes to Namor, just so that
I heard that too. So I'm like,
but their reasoning makes sense. They don't want it to seem so identical to Aquaman.
Yeah, no, I hear you.
So I get that a little bit. But Cat 2, we are supposed to get season 2 of What If in 2022 as well.
Yeah.
So I'm a little excited about that. I'm curious to see what they got in line for What If. Obviously, one thing we do know is there's an episode that was supposed to be in season 1 of What If that didn't make it, that will be in season 2, and that was an episode with Iron Man, where what if Tony Stark had joined the Guardians of the Galaxy?
Oh, I don't remember that. Yeah, that'd be cool.
So looking forward to that one. Yeah. So I'm curious to see how What If is going to play out, and I'm more Watcher on my screen. I love the Watcher.
I want more zombies.
Yeah, I think we'll get more zombies, but and of course, then I mentioned it earlier, the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special, which James Gunn has gone on record saying there will be things that happen in this that will have a direct effect on Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Obviously, we're going to see the Guardians in Thor: Love and Thunder, but this is going to be crazy. James Gunn just said, we're going to do a holiday special. We're going to have fun with it. And everybody was on board. I can't wait to see what they're going to do with this.
Lots of explosions. Oh, wait.
Here's a thought I have, Kat. What if the holiday special deals with the Adam Warlock cocoon that we saw at the end of Volume 2, opening up Volume 3, which the rumors are right now, the main villain from Volume 3 might be the High Evolutionary.
That would be interesting. That would be really cool if they show the cocoon opening in this special.
Yeah,
my buddy John would love that. But
I'm very curious to see what they're going to do with that. The other big Disney Plus question right now is because there's rumors, there's nothing confirmed on a for sure date, but there are rumors that we could see it in 2022 or early 2023, and that's Secret Invasion, because the filming has wrapped on Secret Invasion. A lot of speculation that Secret Invasion, the time frame for it will be actually during the blip.
Oh, interesting.
Which is a time we have not really dealt with in the MCU. So
that would be kind of interesting how they would bring back characters. They could bring back people who were there but blipped out, and what they did while other people were already there. That would be cool.
Yeah. So I if that's the truth, I'm very curious about this. Obviously, Sam Jackson show. We know Maria Hill's going to be in this. We know Don Cheadle is going to show up as War Machine in this series as well. So yeah, I'm very curious about what's going to happen there. I want to go back to Wakanda Forever too, because there's another important thing I didn't mention in that. Rory Williams will be introduced to the MCU in Wakanda Forever. And Rory Williams, for those who don't know, is Ironheart.
But I couldn't remember his real name. Wow.
Her real name.
I couldn't remember the real name at all.
Yeah, so that's going to set up with the Ironheart series, which is supposed to start filming this summer and be out at sometime in 2023, but it's a to be announced date yet, so we'll get into that later once we know more information. Then, Kat, we have Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, February 17th, 2023.
That's gonna be fun.
We know this is going to have an impact on the MCU because Jonathan Majors is the villain in this film. Kang is the villain in this film, and there's already rumors that versions of Jonathan Majors are going to start popping up in MCU projects on a lot more regular basis.
Cool.
Soon,
so
because we know there's a lot of versions of Kang out there.
There are, and one of them happens to be in Egypt too.
So I mean, I'm a huge fan of the Ant-Man films. They're always fun. They have a good energy to them. I think this is going to be one that could be. Maybe even clear up some of the things that we thought we were going to get in Doctor Strange that we didn't, that we'll end up getting in this film as far as impacts on the MCU.
Well, if they introduce King, I don't see why they couldn't. That'd be a lot of stuff they can show us that they didn't show us or couldn't show us, because we'd be like, that makes no sense. Why is that there? And then we watch this movie, like, oh, now that makes sense why that's there. Okay. So, I'm excited for it.
And then May 5th, of 2023, we will have Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, and we know this will be the last ride of this version of the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Right. Well, fortunately, the Guardians have been changed so many times in comics, it's not even funny.
Yeah, but I will be curious to see if there's anybody from the original cast who will carry on.
I hope Bradley Cooper does. I'd love to see more Rocket.
Yeah, I think Bradley Cooper's a good chance. I think obviously Groot's easy enough to do.
Yeah.
I don't know about Chris Pratt or Zoe Saldana. And I'm pretty sure Dave Bautista is done as Drax after this.
Yeah, didn't he say something about him quitting if James Gunn doesn't do anymore? He's done. He's not going to do anymore without him.
Yeah, and there's already been rumors of him showing up in maybe the next Suicide Squad as a certain character and things like that. So
interesting.
So yeah, but we know at least this Guardians of the Galaxy probably going to be the last Guardians project for a while. We might see these characters pop up in other things, but this might be the end of the run. The Guardians will have had their trilogy, and we'll see them pop up on occasion on other things. But I don't know if we'll get another Guardians of the Galaxy film after this.
I think we will, but again, like you said, I don't think it'll be with this cast, though, except maybe Rocket and Groot, because voice acting is a lot easier to do than actual physical acting. So,
yeah,
if they can just lend their voices and go, and it's done.
Of course, there's still a lot of rumors that we might still see a movie of the characters from the end of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 with, Stallone playing and those guys. So there's still those rumors. So who knows? And
That
then
would be
lastly,
funny.
July 28th, we talked about it a little bit earlier. The Marvels. Miss Marvel will be tying directly into this. This is a film that I'm very intrigued about. I talked a little bit about it with Kevin before he left, but Captain Marvel, I think, is one of the more divisive movies in the MCU. I don't have as huge a problem as some of the people do with it, but I do think that there are points with that film where the writing was a little bit different. And I know we have new writers and a new director for this film, and I think it will get a better performance out of Brie Larson as well because of it. I'm excited for. I like the Captain Marvel character. I think there's a lot of potential there that they haven't explored yet, and I think putting her with Monica Rambeau and Kamala Khan is going to make for a very interesting film, and I'm curious to see what Marvel has planned with it.
I'm more interested in seeing Monica Rambeau as Captain Marvel than I am as either one. Excuse me, than either one of those. Personally, I thought the Captain Marvel movie is probably it's my second least favorite movie of all the Marvel movies so far. I'm not a huge Captain Marvel fan. She's a cool character. She does her stuff. She was fun in the comics. I liked it when she lost all her powers in the comics by Rogue siphoning them away from her. But then they gave them back to her, made her Warbird, then changed her to Miss Marvel, and then changed her back to something else, then changed her heritage. It's like, guys.
Well, remember, for a while, she was actually in a lot of X-Men comics because she was a member of the Starjammers as Binary. And that's where...
Yeah, she was Warbird, Binary.
And actually, she was Marvel. Binary before she was Warbird.
Well, I'm just saying she was all these different characters, and they kept bringing her back. When she was Miss Marvel, Rogue siphoned away all her powers because she held on too long. Yeah. And that was supposed to be the end of her. But people liked her, they wanted it, so they brought it back with a different version of her. Stop already. Just keep one version of the woman.
I'm wondering if we aren't someday headed to that. Maybe even sooner than we think, because maybe you can, if you introduce mutants soon, you don't necessarily have to introduce the X-Men to introduce Rogue.
That's true. She started off as a bad guy.
Yeah. So
she was part of the Masters of Evil. Well, not really the Masters of Evil.
The Brotherhood, but yeah, kind of Brotherhood. A new version of the Brotherhood.
Yeah, with Mystique.
Yeah, Mystique, her. Destiny, the Blob.
Do you remember what issue?
All those characters.
Do you remember her debut issue?
Avengers Annual 10.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah.
Good comic.
Yeah, very good comic. But so we know we got a lot of Marvel coming, and we know we have a lot more. Obviously, Fantastic Four is on the plate. We know Ironheart is coming. We know Armor Wars is coming. I'm sure there's going to be a lot more announcements coming soon. We know Captain America 4 is going to be happening with Anthony Mackie as Captain America. So
I wonder if Sebastian Stan will be in that.
I'm sure he will be. I'm sure he will be. Though I would very much like to see maybe a Winter Soldier TV show.
Yeah,
I would
absolutely.
But I think they have other big plans for Sebastian Stan. I'm still not convinced that before it's all said and done, we will see Sebastian Stan in a Captain America suit.
Oh, I'm sure. Him and Anthony Mackie get off so well together. They're so funny.
Yeah, they're a great combo. But with that, it's time to close out this episode. Kat, I want to thank you for joining us for our little bit of summer preview. A lot of stuff to be excited about. Of everything, Kat, what are you most excited about? Is it Thor? Is it She-Hulk?
Thor.
Yeah.
Thor for the movie, She-Hulk for this show, only because I want to see Daredevil in the show.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to anything that gets Matt Murdock, especially played by Charlie Cox, on my screen. I'm all for that.
Absolutely.
I am absolutely in Thor is my number one thing I'm most excited for, but I am very excited for She-Hulk because of Tatiana and what I think that show is going to be, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I have a feeling
it's going to be very, very campy, funny, and just a good show to watch, and then introducing a lot of other things like what people have been doing, again, like Hulk, Abomination, maybe a little bit of Wong.
Oh, definitely a little bit of Wong.
And
gotta have a little Wong.
Gotta have a little Wong. And of course, definitely Charlie Cox is Daredevil.
Yeah. Very, very, very excited about that. But I want to thank all of our listeners for joining us. Of course, there's a few great ways to find True Believers, of course, on our Fandom Podcast Network master feed at fpnet.podbean.com. Of course, we are on all the major podcast catchers out there. Or just search for the Fandom Podcast Network, whether it's on iTunes, iHeartRadio, Spotify, or any of the other amazing podcast catchers out there. Of course, visit our YouTube channel. We put all of our shows now up on our YouTube channel. You get to see our wonderful faces. And, surprisingly, that doesn't seem to keep our likes down. But hey, we appreciate you guys. And so go to our YouTube channel, give us a like, give us a subscribe, and share us out to your friends. They might thank you, they might not. It's hard to say, but also too, visit our Facebook page, both the True Believers group, where we keep you updated on all the goings on in the MCU and the Marvel comic universe, as well as just the Fandom Podcast Network homepage, where we keep you updated on all the big happenings in fandom. Of course, I am your host, Kyle Wagner. You can find me on Twitter at AKyleW and on Instagram at AKyleFandom. Kevin, who was with us earlier, you can find him both on Twitter and Instagram at Spartan_Phoenix. Cat, where can people find you on social media?
Anywhere and everywhere, pretty much at StaticCat1.
And of course, too, there's a couple of other fun ways you can support the Fandom Podcast Network and True Believers. Visit our TeePublic store. We've got all the gear for all of our wonderful podcasts there. Just search either for the Fandom Podcast Network or search for the name of your favorite show on the Fandom Podcast Network. You can get your True Believers gear. You can get your What a Piece of Junk gear, your Couch Potato Theater gear, whatever. Just go to tpublic.com and search for Fandom Podcast Network. And lastly, we like reviews, especially on Apple Podcasts or iTunes, but we'll take them on Spotify, iHeartRadio, because our goal here is to, as always, to make the best podcast we can to feed your ears. And we can't do that if we don't get input. And we want your input. We want to make sure that you're listening to something you enjoy and getting what you want out of it. So that is very important to us. Kevin left. No Excelsior points for him this week. Sorry. He got married and is at Star Wars Celebration. He doesn't need Excelsior points right now. We'll see if he can earn some when Miss Marvel starts back up, because that's when True Believers will return next. Miss Marvel is right around the corner, and we will be back to discuss everything that is happening in Miss Marvel. Until then, I just want to say thank you, True Believers. Excelsior, and as always, make ours Marvel.